And now we're joined by Rob Cassidy, Rivals National Recruiting Analyst for basketball. How are you, sir?
Gentlemen, I am great. It is another wonderful day in Miami, USA. It's good to be on.
Yeah, it's probably a lot nicer there. It's been just hot and humid here, but we don't have an ocean or a beach anywhere within sight, so we're landlocked,
I don't have time
baby.
to go to it these days. I might as well not have a beach anywhere in sight either. Yeah. Maybe next week.
I hear you. Hey, we just got done talking to Ray Miller from Monteverdi, and Van made this comment that I agree with wholeheartedly. He seemed so much more than a basketball coach. He seemed like a life coach. Looking and talking to him, he's wearing a tie. Such a buttoned-up professional organization. I shouldn't call it an organization, but it's run very professionally. And and you can tell the kids that go there come from there. They're sports business professionals when they come out.
Yeah, it's definitely run like a pro place. You know, it's like I told you off the air. It's not just basketball either. They have a baseball team full of superstars. Francisco Lindor went there. I think the volleyball team has the superstars, and they teach kids. You know, they're there to coach and try to win, obviously, but they do also teach kids how to deal with people like us and how to present themselves in the media and how to, so when they get to college, they're a little bit more ready than your kid that comes from a regular public school somewhere. Because that's what they're in school for. You know, they're basically majoring in sports, for better or for worse. And with majoring in sports comes majoring in sports media. And I think it's probably pretty good for NLI stuff too, name and likeness, just because you're so much more polished coming out of there and you really know what to expect and kind of know how to promote yourself.
You mentioned in the break, a busy time for you. You got rankings day. You've got more commitments coming out today. What all's going on out there in the recruiting world?
Well, Amani Bates is supposed to commit today, and he was for so long the number one player in the country, reclassified. He will probably end up in Memphis today there. So that's going to be big news this afternoon. And then, we released at noon, we released the new Rivals rankings, which has people. They haven't even come out yet. I already have people calling to cuss at me. So that's been great. So these days for me are always the worst days. It's about as stressful as it gets. So I'm happy to be on with you guys and not having somebody I barely know call me the F word.
Any movement for Jalen Hood-Schifino?
Yeah, he's going to move up a little bit. He's definitely going in the right direction. I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but I know we did slide him up based on the year he's had. He's one of the things about him is this time last year, he didn't look the same. I don't know if you guys ever got a chip, but this kid has put on muscle, and it's good weight. And it's helped him dramatically, I think, in rebounding. And also to be able to finish through traffic. He gets to his spots pretty easy. He looks like a college-ready kid now, where this time last year he did not have this body. He's muscled up and looking lean and good.
And that's what I said. The guys that come out of there, I was talking to Dylan about this earlier, they come out ready to play. They're ready-made when they get out of either whether it's IMG or Monteverdi. Those guys are ready to go and be impact players for teams. And I think that's exactly what this kid's going to be. I'm not saying he's going to come in and start and play 40 minutes, but his coach talked about the head that he has on his shoulders. Obviously a very smart, level-headed kid that you are going to love to have on the floor for you. That is a guy that you want at the point for you.
100%. And one of the other things that really, they have the weight program, and I think that gets celebrated a little bit. The kids are physically ready to play. But when you're playing a schedule like they play, they don't play kids that are high school basketball players that are going to end up in fraternities, right? Like Montverde plays IMG. The gross majority of the teams they play are teams full of kids with D1 basketball players on them. So, they travel out to watch this academy or some other basketball factory, Sunrise in Kansas, where the games aren't, so lopsided where it's like, some kid named Daniel that's going to major in engineering trying to guard Jalen. Now, Jalen's going against dudes like Tamar Bates. That will end up on the college level. So I think it prepares him that way as well.
I was going to say, it sounds like he's basically playing an AAU schedule during the high school season, which, except you're playing with the team that has like a strength program and has coaches that are going to take an interest in your development throughout the year. I think that's what you want if you're an elite high school recruit, I would assume.
Oh, 100%. It's not for everybody because, it's not high school experience. Like if you're looking to get a normal high school experience and you want to go to prom and do things that high school kids do, it's not for you. So I don't think it's for everybody. But if you that doesn't interest you, and you are 100% focused on basketball, and you want to go to school, high school, to become a college basketball player, these are the kind of places for you, I think.
I talked earlier too about I don't know how much it played a part, but Indiana's performance in the Bahamas, even though it wasn't on television, everyone got the gist of what went on down there. And Tamar Bates being a freshman and how much he was able to play and how much he was able to accomplish, that showed prospective recruits that, hey, man, that Mike Woodson will put the best players on the floor. He's going to give you the opportunities.
Yeah, it's so funny to me, and I wrote this in something I wrote yesterday, I think when Jalen committed, to look back on the hire, and the big concern was, is he going to be is this older head coach that's never been a college head coach going to be able to do the things it takes to recruit at the high level? If that's the question, that question's answered, I think. I don't think he's going to – if he fails, I don't know if he's going to fail or succeed. Who knows? It's not going to be because of recruiting. I think that's clear already. He's getting into some of these recruitments where it's, he's standing toe-to-toe with guys and landing recruits that other people want, highly ranked, very good players. It's just funny to me that was the big conversation we had to have when he was hired 6 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, because the season hasn't started yet, and he has 2 recruits ranked higher than any in the previous 4 years by that other regime.
Yeah, if they start winning too, like I think you mentioned the Bahamas, if they start doing that in games that count, it's just going to snowball. Indiana's got that brand. Now, has it been dormant for a while? Yes. But when you can connect the history with the present, and I think maybe Mike Woodson is probably the best guy to do that, things can snowball in a hurry for you, I think. I mean, you saw it with Michigan. It's all a matter of success and kind of what they do out of the gate.
Well, that's fascinating to me because I've wondered this, and you're a guy who talks to so many recruits and kind of gets a feel for what they want and what they value in a school. What kind of is the feeling about IU as a whole when you talk to some of these kids, and has it changed significantly since Mike Woodson was hired? Is it early? Is it too early to tell what kind of impact he has on that brand?
I think it's too early to tell right now, but it's obviously been pretty good because you can't argue with the results, right? I mean, winning the Tamar Bates sweepstakes was so big to be able to do something like that before ever even coaching a game. Now, I think just like anything else, the first season is going to matter. You can't fall on your face and expect to keep that momentum. But if you do show some upward trajectory, and then at that point you have your brand, you can talk about the history of Indiana better than anyone because you're part of the history of Indiana if you're Woodson, and you kind of can connect that history to the present for these recruits and kind of tell them about it. I think that's a tool. I mean, it's exactly the blueprint that we took with Juwan Howard here. He kind of connected that Michigan past with Michigan present. They won some games, and look at it. I mean, the whole thing snowballed.
Indiana's team recruiting right now, I know they're in the top 10. The rankings changing today. That'll probably push them up a little higher. I know in the composite, they're probably already in the top 5, but this would probably put them in the top 5 on both sides, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's an algorithm. I don't make the decision. It's, based on rankings and where kids rank that they have and star rankings. And I don't even understand how it's calculated. But I just rank the kids, and then the algorithm takes his deal and spits it out. And that's kind of how it's always been.
Noah Clowney is another player on Indiana's list of he's made it. Indiana made his Final 4 list. So that would be a great get. I don't have a good I haven't been up to speed on him. He seems like he likes Alabama a lot, but I know he's from the South, so that may play a part in that.
Yeah, Alabama's involved there. Indiana's involved there. South Carolina is involved there to some extent with Frank Martin. I think him being from down there has kind of lended itself to those programs. He had a big summer. He's also one that's going to slide up a little bit when things update today. He's long. He's an athlete. He's not super polished right now, but he doesn't need to be, I don't think. I think he's got the tools. He's got the length. He's got the athleticism. Once he develops as a defender and kind of learns how to shoot it a little bit from the mid-range and beyond, I think that he could be a really good player.
And I think that what happens with Michael Durr, Dylan, you give Mike Woodson, no one has seen what he can do with a big guy. He was a big guy himself. And he's going to be coaching those guys. So I would think someone like Noah Clowney would be someone that Mike Woodson could recruit personally and say, hey, man, I can tell you how to do it, but I don't know how much of an impact that will have on his recruiting. But I would think that would keep him in pretty good position with Noah Clowney.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, because he already is going to do that with Trace Jackson Davis, and that's kind of the point he's been making all year, is he's going to try to help develop Trace into a more all-around player. So maybe if Trace shows significant strides at the start of the season, that will help as well.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's going to come down to a lot of what they kind of show here just for this class. I don't think that's going to make or break the Woodson era or anything like that. But it sure can help if you come out of the gates hot, especially under a new coaching staff where everybody's kind of looking to have those questions answered. And then you start answering them right around the time that the Euro signing period hits. Things can compound. So it'll be interesting to see.